Morocco's Ministry of Agriculture, Maritime Fisheries, Rural Development and Water and Forests has affirmed that agricultural activity and production are ongoing despite the health emergency state announced to face the coronavirus outbreak. Prices of some goods, which witnessed occasional hikes, returned to normal, while the prices of the most consumed food products remained stable. The ministry said the distribution of spring crops is carried out normally, reaching 50% of the specified schedule late March, while the rest will be planted during April. Iran's death toll from the new coronavirus rose on Friday to 3,294 as it killed another 134 people in the past 24 hours. A statement said that the total number of people confirmed to be infected is 53,183, adding that 4,035 were under observation, a term that may mean they are in critical condition. Of the total number of people who were diagnosed with the disease, 17,935 have recovered. More than 2 million workers in Turkey have lost their jobs due to measures taken to contain the coronavirus outbreak, the main opposition party said on Friday, as the government moved closer to enforcing strict curbs on movement to slow its spread. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's government has ordered retailers, restaurants and other businesses to close, but has yet to impose a full lockdown anywhere in the country. The chairman of the Republican People's Party, CHP, on Friday repeated his party's call for broader restrictions on residents' movements. At present, only those over 65 are subject to a lockdown. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud and the Blue and White Party of Benny Gantz have made progress in negotiations on the distribution of portfolios in the new government, despite some differences. There are also differences among right-wing parties on Israeli sovereignty, on the Jewish settlements in the West Bank, and annexing the Jordan Valley and the northern Dead Sea region. However, Gantz believes in wise political steps to boost Israel's status in the Middle East and the world before any move on annexation. About 280 Saudi doctors are helping to fight the coronavirus disease COVID-19 in hospitals across France as they take part in a French medical fellowship program. The French ambassador to Saudi Arabia told Al-Sharq Al-Awsat that the fellowship program reflects the strong relations binding France and Saudi Arabia in all fields, and it's also a striking symbol of the relationship rooted in friendship and solidarity shared between the two peoples. He also thanked the Saudi doctors for their dedication and the spirit of duty that they have shown in this critical phase. Damascus reported 6 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the total number of those infected with the virus in Syria to 16. Earlier, the Syrian Interior Ministry extended the curfew period during weekend days to 18 hours instead of 12. The team assigned to follow up on the strategy to fight the coronavirus decided to gradually isolate crowded residential areas after it isolated the Sayyida Zainab area in Damascus countryside, where many Iranians come from a visit. The custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, ordered the disbursement of up to 9 billion riyals, which is $2.39 billion, in financial support to more than 1.2 million citizens who work in private sector companies affected by the economic fallout of the coronavirus outbreak. The order will ensure that instead of laying off the Saudi employees, business owners would submit a request to the General Organization for Social Insurance (GOSI) to pay 60% of salaries as a form of compensation for a period of 3 months at 9,000 riyals per month at most. It applies to Saudi employees in the private sector and who were not paid their salaries due to the impact of the coronavirus. Saudi Arabia imposed a 24-hour curfew in Mecca and Medina, extending measures to combat the coronavirus. The Saudi Interior Ministry stipulated exceptions, including for essential workers and to allow residents to buy food and access medical care. A maximum of 2 people will be allowed to travel in one car at a time, the driver and the person going out to buy food or obtain medical care. The curfew imposed in Dammam city and the Ta'if and Al-Qutaif provinces has been brought forward as part of Saudi authorities' ongoing preventive measures against the novel coronavirus. An official source at the Interior Ministry said the indefinite curfew will now start at 3 p.m. starting Friday. The Interior Ministry stressed that the new measure is part of the necessary efforts to preserve public health, urging the people to respect the guidelines. The UN General Assembly approved a resolution calling for international cooperation and multilateralism in the fight against COVID-19, in the first response by the international body since the outbreak began. The resolution, approved by consensus, also stresses the need for full respect for human rights and that there is no place for any form of discrimination, racism, and xenophobia in the response to the pandemic. Russia was unsuccessful in opposing the resolution with its own text that was supported by 4 other countries. The King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center, in cooperation with Al Khair Coalition for Humanitarian Relief, on Friday distributed 263 food baskets to the displaced people in Aden Governorate, Yemen, benefiting 1,578 people. This disbursement of relief comes within the framework of the urgent intervention of the center to help people affected by floods in the various Yemeni governorates. The center, in cooperation with Al Khair Coalition for Humanitarian Relief, also distributed 315 food baskets in Squatra Governorate, Yemen, benefiting 2,106 people. More than 1 million people across the world are reported to have contracted coronavirus infection so far. The reported cases doubled in a week as the virus spreads across Europe and North America and establishes a toehold in Africa. Nearly 53,000 people have died and more than 210,000 have recovered, according to the U.S. university's figures. Nearly a quarter of cases have been registered in the United States, while Europe accounts for around half. King Salman issued a royal decree ordering the allocation of 9 billion Saudi riyals to compensate citizens working in facilities affected by repercussions of the pandemic. The royal decree exempts Saudis working in the affected private sector facilities from Articles 8, 10 and 14 of the Unemployment Insurance Senate scheme. The employees are to be given a monthly compensation of 60% of the registered wage in social insurance for 3 months, with a maximum of 9,000 Saudi riyals monthly. Saudi Arabia has called an urgent meeting of the Organization of Oil Exporting Countries and other oil exporters to discuss restoring the desired balance in global energy markets. The move, which prompted a big jump in the price of oil in global markets, is part of the kingdom's constant efforts to support the global economy in these exceptional circumstances, and in appreciation of the requests of the President of the USA, Donald Trump, and the requests of friends in the USA. Global oil prices reacted immediately. Brent crude, the Middle East benchmark, increased by 20%, taking it back above $30 a barrel. The United Nations warned Friday that the health services in conflict-plagued Libya were already fragile as the North African country recorded its first death from the novel coronavirus. Health authorities said an 85-year-old woman was confirmed to have had COVID-19 on examination after her death, without giving further details. The UN recognized the Tripoli-based Government of National Accord, GNA, which controls the west of the country, has officially recorded 10 cases of the virus in Libya.